question.
Go ahead, please.
Can I add the page after all the parts are ready to the parts polyap parts table?
Um, no, I would suggest to add the parts now, just like add the names like this one. Okay, just add the names, wall, wall door, etc. Add all of them, and right next to them add the descriptions while working on the 3D stuff. If I may suggest, you can ask someone else in your startup to do this for you, like to help you, and you for like one member focuses on 3D, another member focuses on like text content, what is the description, what are the tags, etc. So the sooner you have it, the better, because you are going to do it anyway. So if you do it now and you finish all the 3D parts, at least 6 of them this week, we can have that libraries, those parts on polyap.com if you have everything set. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, great. So let's open Blender and see the file that Aisha sent us. Okay, so we have an eyebrow which is looking really neat. So I like how it looks like it's surprised or something like that. Although I prefer if it was a little bit simpler. The reason is if we want to rotate it this way, oops, what happened? Oh, I have this on. So if I rotate this with chips, you can see that not a lot of emotions can be communicated with this eyebrow. It's either surprised or really angry. Or upset, right? So there is no like sadness. There is no anger, like you can see here. You can't control the level of anger. So that's the reason why in Polyap, Poly uses this kind of eyebrows. Let me show that. See, this type of eyebrows is easier to work with in the chip editor. So you can just rotate it and you will have many many expressions made with that. For example, this one, you just raise one and lower one and you will have a confused or questioning poly. You can raise both to do the same effect as this one, like awe and surprise. Happy, of course, etc. So let's use a simpler one than this. Let's use just one slab like poly in the 3D scene and work from that. Okay. I will just go ahead and diffuse dissolve faces. Okay, so this has the same issue as last time. The scale is set to 0. Oops. So yeah, let's apply everything and dissolve edge. Okay. Merge by distance. Let's add it from scratch. That would be easier. So first let me just move the cursor here. So I will just copy the dimensions. The dimensions are 0.1 here, and or actually it's 0.34 and 0.1 in depth. So I will just remove this, hide the preview, and I will add it here so we can add it there later. So it's a simple cube. I will copy the same dimensions. It was 0.34, and in the y-axis this was 0.1, and here we can make it like 0.1 as well. It's a little bit thick, so let's make it thinner, like maybe 0.05. Yeah, still thick. So 0.0 maybe 3. Yeah, this is much better. So what do you think? Should we make the edges rounded like this? Let me copy. And Control P to bevel, or select this. Oops. See, now this is a common problem. See, this offset is smaller than this one. Let me close the door because that dog is... Okay. No dogs. So the problem is because the scale is not uniform, so let's make it uniform and let's apply the scale by Control A, scale. And now let's try it again. Now you can see that the dimensions are uniform in both locations. So let's, with the mouse wheel, control how. Yeah, this is far better. Yeah. Which one would you put on the character head? Is it this one or this one? Both would look like this, by the way. Similar to this, flat shaded.
What's this? Second one is better.
This one?
No, second one.
This one.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. It's simpler and nicer. So let's work with this one. We need to apply the scale. Okay, so we now just need to add the anchor. Let's do that. And Shift A, arrow 1 to 5. Rotate this in the X by 270. And that's it. We don't need to do any. Well, let's check how did we plan to connect the anchors of the eye. So here is the eye. Okay, we don't have anchors for the what you call them, the eyebrows. We have anchors for the eyes. So we can do it in one way or another. We can add the anchors to the face here, or we can add an anchor to the top of the eye. Which one do you think would work best and why?
Okay, let's put it higher because it will look much better.
Here in the head itself?
Yeah.
Okay. I think that works. But what happens if you want to like make the eyes look this way, for example, or this way? Then you would need to move the eyes and the eyebrows. But if you had the eyebrows already connected to the eye, you can move the eye to look up, up or down or left or right or whatever. The eyebrow would be already connected, so it would be easier to control the character, right? So let's do it the other way. Let's add one anchor on the top of the eye and add the eyebrow to it. And we would add the anchor with an offset, so it will be maybe here. It would not be sticking to the eye. We will see how that works in a bit. So let's go back to the eyebrow. And instead of having the anchor here, we would have it here. So, and we add anchor. We don't need to rotate it. We will see why in a bit. So let's just add it here. Make this mesh colorable and name this anchor. Oops, typo. Add the parent and add everything inside it and call this eyebrow part. Okay, so oh, my bad. This is meant to go on the down face, not at the top face, right? So let's just put it in the negative, and now it's in the right spot. We just need to rotate it so the Z is pointing down. So RX 180. Now it's alright, it's perfect. This one is good. Let's just make this 3.5 and apply. Okay, now we are done with the eyebrow. Now let's take a look at the eye part. So this is the eye part that we worked on last time, right? So this is meant to be the top of the eye. There is no anchor right there. So let's add anchors. So this is the first anchor, which would be at the bottom. And arrow 0.25 RY 180. So we have the first anchor for the eye. This is where the eye would connect to the head. Okay, now we want, and let's make this smaller so we can see. So 0.1 makes more sense at this scale. So we want the anchor of the eyebrow to be at the top here to connect from here, right? So let's select that area. Actually, let's select it, yeah, from here. And Shift A, sorry, 0.1. And we want this to go into this direction because the eyebrow will be in this area. So RX 270, which is -90. Okay, so let's test this. But before I do, let's add some offset to this eyebrow anchor. So it's not sticking directly on top of the eye. So we just move it a little bit in the Y direction. Yeah, this looks like a nice place. So it's almost 0.1. So we add 0.1. Now this anchor is part of the eye. It's not close to it, it's not sticking on it, but it's part of the eye. Now let's group them together into one object and call it eye part, and name these anchors. And make sure this is the active part object. Now move everything to the eye collection. We have everything here. Now let's close it. I think there is a problem with this formation of the eye anchor, but we will fix it in a bit. So we need the eye. So here is the eye, and we need to create an eyebrow. So let's take a look. This is the anchor of the eyebrow. We need to put it in the same space as this one. So let's rotate in X by -90. Yeah. And let's move it in the Y axis until it touches this anchor. So as you can see, now this is how would the eye and the brow would connect. Now immediately this is a little bit big, so let's fix that. Let's hide those and bring up the eyebrow. Let's make it smaller, like maybe 0.3 instead of 0.35, and 0.08 for the eyebrow. And let's apply. Now let's take a look. Ooh, we forgot something because we changed the dimension. This one is sticking in the air, so we need to move it up. So we made it 0.8, so 0.1 minus 0.08 is 0.01. So we need to move it up 0.01. JZ 0.01. Now let's take a look. GY 0.01 in the negative. Okay, so now it's looking much better. It's simpler and nicer. We need to decrease the gap in the eye anchor. So let's fix that and make this one be slightly shorter. Yeah, this one is more better looking. So GY, yeah, around this point. So this is good, but if we look at it from the side, you will see that this one is sticking. Right? It's not where this should be. So it should be like this. And they're sitting on the, imagine if this line was the face, the eyebrow shouldn't go inside, it should be on the face like this. So we should move this anchor of the eye, the one we offsetted, a little bit into this direction. And that's equivalent to like 0.015, which is half of this. Remember, we made this 0.3 in depth. So the anchor should be in the middle, which is 0.015. So we go back to the eye part. We get the, what you call it, the anchor. We put it up 0.15. And now if we go back to the preview or test thing, you can see that both anchors are now in the same location, almost. Okay, so let's add that part to the preview. And Let's add an eyebrow. Yeah, almost here. Okay. Now we have looks like a boy. So we need other types of faces. But let's work with this. Let's have this ready. We need maybe some eyelashes here. Maybe we add another anchor here to add eyelashes to, if we want eyelashes to be part of our character. And then we can have other types of the eyebrows. Like this eyebrow is thick. It looks like a boy's eyebrow. So maybe we have a soft eyebrow, something like this, but maybe smaller and more simple and softer looking. Okay, so let's move and take a look at the numbers that Nikon startup made. So we have the letters from A, B, C, and all the letters up until like K and L, M, N, O. So there is like a good progress made here. So let's work on some of the letters. Let me save and create a new file. Oops. Yes. Oh, did I put don't save? Oh man. No worries, we can fix that later. So the format here is DAE. It's not a blend or anything. So let's import DAE. So file, import Collada DAE. And we go to the downloads. And here are the parts. So let's work on, let's fix the M, right? So here is the M. Maybe we need to fix this geometry a little bit. It's because the format triangulates everything here. But we can worry about that later. Let's focus on making the M right now. I'm seeing a lot of empties. Can I hide the empties? I can't. Okay. So first is we have some extra geometry here. So let's remove that. We have extra geometry here. Is this one? Yeah. Let's remove that. What is this one? Okay, now we can see something behaving as expected. So let's just move this up here. Okay, now let's do our first cleaning job by merging by distance. I'll make it a little bit bigger. Okay, and I don't like all these triangles here. I will just go to mesh. Actually it's face, tries to quads, which will try to make the triangles be like quads consisting of 4 sides instead of 3. Let me hide all the anchors because they are confusing me. We can show them later and add them later. Okay, so let's create our first cut here. Let's cut them like this and cut them like, oops, not like this. We need it to be exactly where the vertex is. Cool. We want it to be aligned, like in the same space. So cursor selected, and we select the 3, and we tell them to align to the 3D cursor. So SX 0. As you can see the difference here, it was not straight, now it's straight. We don't want this one, so dissolve edges. And same here. I don't want these as well. Dissolve edges. Dissolve edges. Okay, so let's create the letter M, which has like a triangle cut from this area, right? And let me just check something here. So the width and depth here is 0.25. So I think that is the case here. So let's see the edges length. Okay. Here, edge length, not angle, length. It's 0.15, 0.15. It's looking great. So let's add the triangle here. First we make a cut here. Okay, you see it like it's not behaving because I have this enabled, so I will disable that. And now let's make it so that it's like this. So it's looking nice. Let's just move everything here and here and here. Move it up a little until it matches the look of the whole M. And I think this is looking great. So we have M. My name starts with an M. Okay, so we will save the file. I will save it in download. Well, let's save it in the correct location in my folder in 3D parts. I think I have a folder for that. Yeah, alphabet, library, and numbers. In blend, you see alphabet new, and I will send this file to Nikon. So let's create the letter K. So J-I-K. K is a little bit problematic because it's not as simple as an I or an L. It has two things going out of it. We can manage to do that. Let's duplicate the I because it will be easier to work from it. Where is the I? I. Is this you? No. This is a different I. Yep, here it is. See, it's better to have like an organized file. It will be easier to find what you are looking for. So I will duplicate all of this. Select hierarchy, duplicate, and move it here. We forgot to add anchors here, but we will do that later. So let's take a look at the I and see how it can move it, make a K out of it. I will hide this. So let's see how we can add this. So the K would like this is the center of the K, and we need to have something that goes like this.
Sorry, my lesson begins. I have to leave. Will there be a video of the workshop?
Of course, yeah, you can go ahead. We are past time, but let's finish working on this. You can go.
Thank you.
So we can, so this should be like this here, should be 0.25 because this one is 0.25, right? This should be, not sure, do we make it like this or do we make it like this? Which one do you think is better? Yeah, I think this one makes more sense. Okay, we will make it this shape, and let's do it. First, we need to cut this in half and add one stop here and one stop here, and we can extrude both ways, and we can merge them together. Let's work on that. Okay, let's hide. Well, let's hide it when we don't need it. So first thing, we need to detriangulate. So select all, face tries to quads. It tried, so let's do the job. And this is looking perfect. So let's first cut our first loop in the middle. And here I will do something to make the modeling easier. I will remove this bit, so I have half of what I have before, and I will move the origin to this area. So I put the cursor here, and now we'll set the origin to be in this area. I will add a mirror modifier and make it mirror in the z-axis. So whatever I do here will be mirrored here. So I have to do only half of the work, which is nice. So half of 0.25 is 1.25. So this is the half of this. And now we can extrude like this. Now let's move it up, and it's looking much better. I will add snapping, so I will snap this to this top. NGX yeah, this one, this here looks nice. Okay, so we need the other bit, so we have half of it. It needs to be thicker, so we will just move this to this direction. GX, this one looks nice, and this one, move it to this area. Okay, I will create a loop cut here so we can have this extra bit, this one. So this one should be aligned with this one and this one, so it will be in the middle. So move the cursor here as Z0, move it here as X0. Now let's remove the animations, and now we have our K. So let's do some cleanup. We don't need these extra geometries, so we dissolve dissolve. And here we go. Well, don't worry about this. Let's make it clean. Okay, so this is what we have right now. Let's just apply the mirror modifier and we will be ready. And we don't need these edges created by the mirror modifier. Okay, this is fantastic. We have our K and we have our M. So great work, Nikon. You created a lot of letters. All of these Nikon created over the past weeks. We do need the rest of the letters. So next time let's work on the R and like more difficult letters and have this library available as soon as possible. Okay then. Thank you for joining and see you next time. Bye bye.
Bye.